The greedy Wall Street trader. In the heart of Manhattan, where skyscrapers pierced the clouds like giant steel fingers reaching for endless wealth, lived a young man named Alex Harper. At 28, Alex was already a rising star on Wall Street. He worked as a junior trader at one of the biggest investment firms in New York City, spending his days glued to multiple computer screens, watching stock prices flicker up and down like a never-ending game. Alex grew up in a modest suburb of Chicago. His parents were hardworking teachers who always told him, "Success comes from dedication and integrity, son." But when Alex moved to the Big Apple after college, he saw a different world. Luxury cars zoomed through the streets, penthouse parties lit up the night, and everyone seemed obsessed with making the next big deal. This is where dreams come true, Alex thought. If I play my cards right, I could be a millionaire by 30. He was smart and ambitious, but he wanted results fast. While his colleagues talked about long-term investments and careful research, Alex dreamed of shortcuts. He spent evenings scrolling through financial forums, reading about get-rich-quick schemes and mysterious trading algorithms. One rainy Thursday night, after a long day at the office where he'd lost money on a bad trade, Alex sat in his tiny apartment in Brooklyn, sipping cheap coffee and browsing his phone. That's when he stumbled upon an obscure app in a hidden corner of an online marketplace. It was called Fortune Forecast. The description was vague. Predict the unpredictable. Unlock the market's secrets. There were no reviews, no developer info, just a single download button. Something about it felt off, but Alex's curiosity won. "What's the worst that could happen?" he muttered, hitting download. The app installed quickly. When he opened it, the screen glowed with a simple interface, a search bar for stock symbols, and a big red Predict button. Alex typed in Apple stock, just for fun. The app spun for a second, then displayed, "Buy now, peak in 48 hours, plus 15%. He laughed it off as a gimmick and went to bed. The next morning, he checked the real market. Apple stock had jumped exactly as predicted, overnight buzz about a new product launch. Alex's heart raced. He tested it again with Tesla. The app said, "Sell short, drop incoming, negative 10% in 24 hours. By evening, news of a production delay hit, and the stock plummeted. Alex couldn't believe it. This app knew things before they happened. Over the next week, Alex used it cautiously. He made small trades based on its predictions, turning a few $1,000s into tens of thousands. His confidence soared. "This is my ticket," he whispered to himself in the mirror one morning, tying his expensive new tie. He started dressing sharper, eating at fancy restaurants, and bragging to his friends about his instincts. But greed has a way of creeping in slowly, then all at once. One evening, the app pinged with a notification, something it had never done before. A special alert. Mega opportunity. Invest in crypto coin X, launching tomorrow. 1,000% growth in 1 week guaranteed. Alex had heard whispers about this new cryptocurrency. It was unlisted yet, available only through private channels. The app even provided a secret link to buy in early. Alex's mind raced. If he invested everything, his savings, his bonus, even borrowed money, he could turn his $200,000 portfolio into millions. He could quit his job, buy a condo in Manhattan, travel the world. This is it, he thought, the big one. Ignoring the little voice in his head, the one that sounded like his parents saying, "If it seems too good to be true, it probably is," Alex maxed out his credit cards, took out a high-interest loan from a shady online lender, and even borrowed from a colleague under the pretense of a sure thing. He poured over $1 million into CryptoCoin X, all based on the app's promise. The first day after launch, the coin skyrocketed. Alex watched his account balance explode. $1 million became $3 million, then $7 million. He refreshed the screen every minute, grinning ear to ear. He texted his boss, taking a personal day. He bought champagne and celebrated alone in his apartment, imagining his new life. But on the third day, something strange happened. The app stopped responding. Predictions froze. When Alex tried the CryptoCoin X link again, it led to a dead page. Panic set in. He checked the news. Headlines screamed, CryptoCoin X revealed as massive scam. Founders vanish with billions. The coin's value crashed to zero overnight. Investors around the world lost everything. Alex stared at his screen, watching his millions evaporate. He was left with nothing but debt, hundreds of thousands in loans, credit cards maxed out, and his colleague demanding repayment. The fallout was swift. His firm found out about the reckless borrowing and fired him for unethical conduct. Friends distanced themselves when he couldn't pay back what he owed. Creditors called nonstop. Alex moved out of his apartment and back to his parents' house in Chicago, tail between his legs. For months, he spiraled. He took odd jobs, delivering food, tutoring kids in math, to pay down debt. Nights were the worst, filled with regret. How could I be so stupid? I chased a fantasy and ignored reality. One day, while walking through a park in Chicago, Alex saw an old man feeding pigeons. The man noticed Alex's downcast eyes and struck up a conversation. "You look like you've learned a hard lesson, young man," the old man said. Alex poured out his story, leaving no details. The old man listened quietly, then smiled. "I was like you once. Back in the 80s, I lost everything in a bad investment. Thought I could outsmart the market. But you know what? Losing it all taught me more than winning ever could." He continued, "Wealth isn't about luck or secrets. It's about steady work, learning from mistakes, and building something real. Start small again. Be patient, and most importantly, be honest with others and yourself." Those words stuck with Alex. He deleted every quick rich app from his phone and enrolled in online courses about ethical investing. He got an entry-level job at a small financial advisory firm in Chicago, far from Wall Street's glamour. Years passed. Alex worked tirelessly. He saved diligently, invested conservatively in index funds and blue-chip stocks, nothing flashy. He paid off his debts one by one. He started a blog sharing his story anonymously, warning others about greed and scams. It gained a small following, and soon he was giving talks at local schools about financial responsibility. By his mid-30s, Alex had rebuilt his portfolio, not to millions overnight, but to a comfortable 7 figures through consistent, honest effort. He bought a modest house, married a kind woman who valued character over cash, and started a family. One evening, as he watched his kids play in the yard, Alex reflected on his journey. The mysterious app? He never found out where it came from. Probably a scam artist's tool to lure greedy fools like he once was. But it had unwittingly given him the greatest gift, a lesson in humility. Alex Harper became known not as a flashy trader, but as a trusted advisor who helped everyday people build secure futures. And whenever someone asked his secret to success, he'd smile and say, "Patience, hard work, and staying true to yourself. That's the only prediction that always comes true."